5 weeks now since the story broke that has since captivated Connecticut and the nation. And we're still asking, where's Jennifer? With us today to talk about this is Brian Foley. Of course, he's been on our program before, back when he was with Hartford Police. He is now with the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. And
good morning.
We'll still call you Chief Foley because that was your last title.
Everyone just calls me Foley, but go ahead.
So welcome back to the program.
Thanks.
So first of all, tell us about your new situation here with the agency that really oversees the
soon
police.
after Governor Lamont selected Commissioner Ravella to be the commissioner of the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, he had reached out. We talked about a lot of our successes that we had in Hartford. And most of those successes were community-orientated in the urban areas, but some of those things that we believe could translate statewide. So he asked me, once I was able to leave my previous job, to come over there and work with him. And again, it's doing a lot of the same stuff I did in Hartford. There will be some PIO function to it for the entire division. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of divisions. It's not just the state police. There's several lab, there's Homeland Security, Emergency Services, the 911s, the Fire Academy. So there's a lot of departments there and a lot of work to do. But really, we believe there's a lot of area to improve within the department to outreach, especially into the urban areas. So we're going to work on New Haven, New Britain, Waterbury, Hartford, and just getting our departments and a lot of our troopers involved in the cities, in the urban areas as well. But not to forget the rest of the states also. But we just see a lot of areas of improvement, and along with the police academies as well, we think we can do better in some of the outreach that we do.
I want to address the Doulos case. Is state police overseeing the entire investigation at this point?
No, I think the best way to put it would be that State's Attorney Coangelo is the one who is overseeing the entire investigation, as it was initiated down in New Canaan, but then it began to spread around the state, as we saw unfold several weeks ago, to include Farmington and the Hartford Police and a couple of regional teams down in the south end of the state. So when that happens, it kind of, and I've experienced this when I was with Hartford, a case gets bigger than the town you're in, and you start to lose some of your contacts externally, and you realize there's other agencies that have better contacts there. That's what's going on here. So state police was called in to assist initially with the crime scene in New Canaan, but as it expanded, now they've taken a greater role in the investigation. Again, though, still under the State's Attorney Coangelo and with the New Canaan Police Department.
So New Canaan Police are leading it, even though some of the investigating was done in Hartford?
It's a cooperative effort at this point. Really, State's Attorney Coangelo's the one who's leading the investigation, but everyone's working together. And there's a lot of resources, Dennis, is not just state resources and local, but federal as well, that are going into this case.
In terms of state resources, what kind of resources are being put into it on a daily basis? I know, the trash plant probably was more.
Yeah, a lot of our detective bureaus, the Western District and Central District Major Crimes Divisions, are putting a lot of resources in it. And we'll talk about this in a minute. There's also 3 police shootings they're investigating at the same time. So this has taken up a lot of time and a lot of dedication, as you saw at the trash plant, from some of the best detectives you've ever seen. And while we're on the detective thing, if you look at Commissioner Ravella and the Colonel of State Police, Colonel Malikas, these two guys, Ravella and Malikas, are 2 retired detectives, cold case detectives, and homicide investigations really are their bread and butter. And so they're really watching this closely. So you have, between the major crimes detectives in the state police and New Canaan police, and even you had some guys in Hartford working on this, you have some of the best homicide detectives and missing persons detectives this state has to offer. I can say that with complete confidence.
What is this costing state police?
We don't have the number, but it's costing a lot. But really, how much can you put a price on something like this? And it brings to light not saying this was a domestic violence case. It certainly smells like that. But anytime there's cases like this, it does bring to light the domestic violence aspect of it. And if nothing else, the cost, unfortunately, we still hope to find the victim in here. We all need to take a look at the domestic violence aspect. And were there ways to prevent this? I'm not saying there were, but how can we improve and work to preventing these things in the future?
You've been an officer a long time. You've covered a lot of crimes. In this particular case, I can't remember another story in Connecticut that has captivated people so much as this. So why do you think that is?
Demographically, you don't typically see these sort of things. People unfortunately get too used to homicides in your urban areas, sadly to say. We wished, that homicides in Hartford could garner this type of attention, but that's not the case. I think that has to do with it. I think the wealth has to do with it. And look at this, it really looks like a good old-fashioned mystery here, unfortunately. And that's what people are stuck to. And of course, the media is not only playing it up as they should or should not, yeah. But unfortunately, people are really drawn to this case when there is really a sad ending to it.
And you worked at HPD when they put in all those cameras throughout the city, particularly in the North End.
Yeah.
How crucial are the videos from these cameras in this particular investigation?
All right, Dennis, so very rewarding to Commissioner Ravella and myself, specifically to him, though. 7 years ago when he started to put together the crime center and C4, and he involved the community, the ACLU, all the community groups to let them know this is not about active surveillance, this is about criminal investigation and protecting our city. When we found out that when someone had walked into our office and said, hey, do you guys know where these 2 streets are specifically? I'm not going to name them. And we said, of course we do. We said, we have cameras there right now. And within an hour, they had video evidence from those streets. And so we were rewarded in that we put that umbrella over the city 7 years ago, and here it is coming in to pay off. And you can imagine any suspect that didn't think there was video to find out there was video. Certainly their heart must have dropped, and that was a good moment for us.
And I know that you're not allowed to talk about the evidence, but there are some people out there saying, well, they found absolutely nothing at the trash plant. Is that accurate?
Look, the detectives worked a long time, and what they did there needed to be done, and I think every single one of them, considering the circumstances, considering whether evidence was or was not found, would tell you that what they did was worth it. There has been significant evidence found in this case, and I know the general public, that was such a media interest, they want to hear about what that is. What is that evidence? And let me tell you why we can't say. There's evidence that gets found in crimes, and the only people who know what that evidence is the suspect and the victim. And when the police discover it, they don't want to put that out publicly, because a defense attorney would use that in court to say that this person knew about it or that person knew about it because they saw it on TV. So police have to keep that close to their chest. It's information known only to the suspects and witnesses, and it does the criminal case no good to talk about it publicly. We'd love to put everything out there, but right now there's a family, there's children, and that criminal case to them is all that the police can do to protect, or at least do the best we can for them.
I want to shift gears a bit, and the 2 investigations into officer-involved shootings that the state police are handling right now. Where do those stand? All
right, so Dennis, there's 3 really. There's one in Wyndham, but there was an exchange of gunfire there. The other 2 are Wethersfield and New Haven, involving the Hamden police. Those are just about wrapped up, and so typically you saw these things take 6 months to a year. Commissioner Ravello is committed to getting these in around 3 months, and 2 of them happened in April. The one in Wyndham was in February, but that was an extended scene, and there was a lot of elements to it. Those will be wrapped up within a week or 2, all 3, and they're going to go to the state's attorney's office. From there, the state's attorney will look at it, review, and submit or come up with findings. Was it justified or was it not justified? And more importantly, were there any criminal violations? Were there any law violations within there? And that's what they have to determine, and we'll see how long that takes.
Brian Foley, good to see you back here on the program.
Thanks,
and congrats on the new job.
Thank you.
In just a moment, we'll talk about a newly reborn, with a new attitude, Republican Party, with its newly reelected leader, J.R. Romano. And we welcome your comments on social media right now. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.